Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to the Spiritual Rockstar Podcast Show. We have an energy scan show today. And guess what? If you've ever watched one of these shows, or if you've never watched it, but if you've ever watched it before, they are awesome. I actually get quite a few listens and views on these energy scan shows. And the truth is that today it's going to, I believe in some ways, is going to be more awesome than all the other ones, because we actually are going to really more intensively focus on the money aspect for Kimberly today, I asked her, says, hey, can we go deep on the money stuff today? And she says, absolutely. So we're going to go deep on that in the second half of the show. And what I know about that is when I've done that in group settings before, in different settings, it's not only powerful for the person receiving, but especially when we hit on that money stuff, oh my God, is it powerful for the people listening? And imagine me helping a meditation teacher learn how she can start having way more money abundance as a meditation teacher. So any of you guys, oh, how do I make more money? I'm a healer, I'm a spiritual teacher. All right, we're gonna start nailing that stuff today, all right? Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate, Make Money meditation today. Okay, so, and you're going to learn in the first half of today's show all about, meditation and Kimberly. We're going to have an incredible time because I've been at it a couple of decades with her with the meditation stuff. So we're going to have incredible things to share, mostly her, but, I can't help but chime in here and there. And we're gonna have a great time. She's amazing. I actually was gushing to her all these things I was dealing with today, and she's just such a safe space, an amazing listener and energy being. So, Kimberly, I'm grateful you're on the show today. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit more about Kimberly. Kimberly Allen combines her background in yoga therapy. I've never heard it called that before, so I'll be curious about that if we get a chance to talk about it. And lifestyle, medicine, health coaching, with her love of magic to help women turn their dreams into reality. Her specialty is working with emotions and understanding where in the body we hold on. Through breath and meditation practices, we can release stuck emotions. The practice of meditation in particular allows us to relax our nervous system, which we actually started off this show with a meditation guide. We were meditating before we started the show. Isn't that cool? So we want to relax our nervous system with meditation and open up our minds. We are able to better recognize our emotions and process them so that we do not stay stuck in our bodies. Stay stuck in our bodies. I definitely want to dive into that. We don't want to stay stuck in our bodies. We want to be able to, oh man, I got to ask questions about that. Okay. Kimberly Allen holds a BS in Bachelor's of Science in Exercise Physiology and an MS in Nonprofit Management with a specialty in organizational development. Yeah, she's a brilliant person. Very, very cool. She holds over 200 and 500 certifications in yoga teaching and training, and is also a Reiki Master. So, wow. Okay, grateful to have you again, Kimberly.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what got you into being a meditation teacher.
Yeah, well, I got into yoga for the physical aspect of it, like 99% of people I think in the US probably are at that point. And I wasn't really into the meditation piece at all. And then slowly the evolution was, meditation's actually where it's at. Like that's where the changes happen. That's where the magic is of yoga and other of the Eastern practices too, and it's really about moving energy and being in your body and really feeling, who you are, the truth of who you are. But you have to get quiet to get there. And so I decided that I would just start meditating. And I had learned all these techniques. And really, for me, it didn't even matter what the technique was. It was sitting my butt down and staying in the chair or staying on the floor, wherever I was seated, right? It was literally the act of like, I need the discipline to do this because I really believe in it. And I just want to say that I've really been practicing. So I spent 1 year just practicing the discipline of sitting every day without any other agenda except for not getting up until my timer went off. And that gave me the discipline. And then that gave me the realization of what I thought about meditation was actually true about meditation. And so then, it just has evolved since then. So that I got into that. And then I realized how much people are missing out in meditation because it might be like 2 minutes. It's like a teaser at the end of a class, or it might be just guided meditations. And I really believe people need to, all of us need to be able to sit quietly with ourselves. I mean, even if it's 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. But the act of sitting quietly with ourselves is so important that I decided that I really wanted to help people do that. Help people learn how to be comfortable sitting with themselves and do it in a way that it's achievable, baby steps, and I tell them the stories about how hard it was. And sometimes I'd literally watch the clock the whole time, but I didn't let myself get up, and how other times it seemed effortless. So, that's sort of the story of how I got into it. But really it's about, it is about calming our nervous system. It is about clearing our mind. Even though our thoughts are going all the time, we still do get clarity in the mind. And, I want that for people. I want people to understand and to experience it.
Now you worked, I don't recall, we did
That's
talk
okay.
about it. You worked with a nonprofit in the past. I have
Yes.
that as far in my recollection and my notes here,
Yes.
like, but exactly what were you doing at the time you got into meditation? Because people are like, well, what's your situation? I'm so busy, I don't have time to meditate.
Right. Yeah.
I would love to know what kind of situation
Yeah.
you were in when
Yeah.
you
I was the
started.
executive director of a nonprofit.
Okay, you weren't busy at all. That by lunch.
Not busy at all. I was the executive director of nonprofit. I was volunteering with the dog rescue. And, everybody's busy. I don't have children, but I substituted, I think, the busyness of having children with doing volunteer work. So if I wasn't working at my regular job, I was volunteering. And so when I realized, I didn't even realize how busy I was, but I was miserable because I was not present for myself at all. I always say it was like ping pong, right? I was like ping pong or pinballing around my life, like from one thing to the next, the next, the next. And I would just like fall into bed at night and just be like, in my head would be like, did I do this, this, this? Okay, well, first thing in the morning, I got to do, right? That whole cycle. Never really got the rest. And I just started burning out on everything, physically being sick. And that's when I went back to my yoga practice. And that's when I went back to saying, okay, what can I do in the time that I have? I believe in meditation. I'm going to start making it happen. No more when it's time. I started building the time into my day, 10 minutes at a time, right? Turned the TV off. I got ready for work. I was fully ready for work every morning. And then I would sit down because I knew I didn't have to leave for 10 more minutes. So there was nothing hindering me. I was like, oh, I'm ready for the day, but I don't have to leave yet. So I'm going to sit for 10 minutes. Then I can leave. And so that's how I managed to put it in my schedule. I put it in right before I got in my car. And I was ready. So there was no excuse of like, oh, I still have to get dressed or brush my teeth or whatever. And just built it in. But yeah, super busy. I mean, just like everybody is, but super busy without any awareness of how I was feeling and why I was so miserable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, compared notes on this a little bit the last time, but yeah, when I first started meditating, like I was a therapist. I mean, that's my
Yeah.
background. I was doing that sort of work at the time, but I still had a lot of anxiety. And I was trying to learn how to meditate, so to speak. I would sit and I would do okay, if you want to think, you think the word peace. You come up with your
Mm-hmm.
centering
Mm-hmm.
word, right? So that was the method I used to get started. And there wasn't near the education out there when I got started.
Right.
Because you started around the same time. There wasn't like
Yeah.
all the channels, and you could easily learn
Right.
how to meditate correctly. And it's the snap, but it was like, okay, how do we do this? All right. So I heard these instructions, do this thing. Okay. So when I first time I started, like all I could think is like, when's it gonna be over? Like the entire time, and it was only 1 minute.
Right.
That's how I
Exactly.
started meditation.
Right.
So guys, there's hope for you.
That's right. There is.
Now me and Kimberly are people like we could drop in. Maybe our minds are noisy and maybe, but we
Mm,
could drop in all of a sudden, like probably without not too much time, at least the surface level thoughts starts to drop off. Relatively,
mm-hmm.
they might keep popping in here and there, right? But they start to drop off, really quickly. Whereas when we first started, it was nothing like that.
Oh, yeah.
I can guarantee it, right? Based on
Yeah.
our conversation. Because I know my experience, and then we'll ask you, but my experience was there were times it was meditation, I was going, peace, 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 peace. It's like nonstop, peace, 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 peace. Because I couldn't stop that the critter wanting to think that's inside
Yes.
me, right?
Yes.
And then finally I'd be like, okay, can we lengthen the duration between that word, right? Can we get in
Yeah.
that stillness longer? And that's how I got started until I was able to learn how to just be still and just let the thoughts jump in if they wanted to
Mm-hmm.
here and there. Before, my mind just seemed too noisy to start with. So
Yeah.
what was your experience? And then how do you help other people? What's your favorite way to help people with really
Yeah.
busy minds with
Yeah.
meditating?
My experience was, well, first I had to learn how to sit still, right? Because I would just want to get up and do something else. But what happened from the using the timer and making myself stay was it was the anger. I had so much anger that I had to do it.
Mhm.
And I was the one enforcing this, but I was so angry. I was like, I don't want to meditate anymore. Why am I like just the thoughts about like, well, who said this is important? And like,
You did, but yeah, right.
like I started blaming everybody else for
Yeah,
me sitting there. It was
right.
me. I was the one making myself sit there. And so it was the anger that I had to get through. It was like the emotion of like anything. Oh, I'm hungry. I have too much to do. My leg hurts, anything would just get. And I think, that was that overly busy, um, like sort of type A person I was. And it was like the anger of just, and I don't even know if it's anger is how it came out, but it was like that need to be busy because I didn't want to sit with my mind. I didn't want to sit still in my body. I wanted to be doing, doing, doing. And so the way that I work with people now is, I usually get them going. Like I get them set up with their posture and we find a focal point that works for them. So it might be like you're saying, like a word, a mantra, like peace. I am, whatever the words are that resonate with them. Or maybe it's focusing on the breath, or maybe it's focusing on a mudra. I find a way to get them to get through 5 minutes. Like,
Mhm.
how can we get through 5 minutes? Talk them into it, find that focal point, and I will just keep trying a focal point with them until we find one that feels good.
Mhm.
Because I believe in the end, meditation is about quieting the mind and getting into ourselves. I don't have a need for it to be a certain way, as long as you're not saying I'm knitting and meditating, because that's not true, right? And I know everybody wants to say, oh, I'm there's all kinds of ways meditation gets used, and I don't, and that's
Moving
another road we could go
meditation. Come
down.
on, Kimberly.
Right?
Don't take it away from me.
I
It's the
know.
only way I have. I mean, if we could talk about that. I have met many people are very spiritual, but
Yes.
they say the only way meditation works for me. And I've tried to sit it down, doesn't work. And they tell
Yes.
me like, no, the only way it works is if I do a moving meditation. It's the only way it
Right.
works. But I've never fully believed it. I'm like, I don't think you disciplined yourself. I say, no, I did it for weeks. And I'm like, okay, then you just need to keep going. In my opinion,
Right.
that's my
And
opinion.
and I share that opinion
Yeah, yeah.
because yes, there is moving meditations, there's walking meditations, there's, I don't even think guided meditations. I will say guided meditations aren't true meditations. They are training wheels
Mhm.
to keep you in your seat, essentially,
Mm.
right? They're like keeping you in that, trying to keep you in that moment.
Mhm.
But I don't care how people get there, honestly.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't care if it's following the breath. I don't care if it's listening to yourself say peace over and over again. That part to me doesn't matter. It's the what are you getting from it? Like, are you getting that sense of ease in your life? Are you getting that ability to pause before reacting in those big, we have these big reactions, right? Do you have the ability now to create space and pause around things, decisions, reactions? Can you witness your own life? So there's, maybe that's beyond, what we're thinking about, but there's, um, I think it's more to me like find that quiet, find that ability to get in there. And then it's what is the result? What are you getting from it? And so, yeah, if you have to yell peace at yourself for, a year, do it. But keep, like you said, just like, okay, but just keep going
I think
because
it's
that
yeah.
point will happen,
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's important that people understand, like, me and Kimberly started where you guys are, where you don't think you can. Like, we
Right.
did. I mean, yeah, if I judge, like, my first even few months probably of meditation, I'd be like, "It's totally failing, it's not working. Let me try this moving meditation thing." I mean,
Right.
but, you can't give in to that. I mean, I think the core complaint I hear really is, like, I don't really want to connect with what's in there. That's
Yes.
not what they'll say. They'll say it's boring. That's what they'll say. They'll say
Right.
it's boring. It can't sit still. It's not effective. Doesn't feel as good
Right.
as moving. That's what they'll say. But my experience is that if I were to really press them, which I rarely have in the past, with those type of people, is like, okay, what's the real issue? You don't want to be present with what's going to come up if you stay in
Right.
a deeper meditation. And that's why a
Right.
lot of people, when I had silent retreats and stuff, and I invite people are like, oh, hell no, I ain't sitting for days in meditation. There's no
Yes.
way. I don't want to have to deal with that. No way. Like, it's
Right.
a
Right.
hugely threatening thing, sitting in meditation for a few days, like,
It
so
is threatening. It's very challenging. And
yeah.
I think it's worth the challenge. I think, I have found that I'm still challenged. That
Yeah,
has
yeah,
not gone away.
yeah.
But it's definitely, I can manage the challenge. I have ease around the challenge. I know that I'm safe in meditation,
Mhm, mhm,
so that there's like, there's this idea that it's still hard. It's not as hard as it was, but there are
mhm,
days where it's still challenging. Absolutely. But
mhm.
I know the reward.
Right. Right. Like today, like I told you, is unusual. Like it's usually just routine. Okay, it's time to meditate, just sit down. But every once in a while you slip. And it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, let me do this other thing before I meditate. The minute you start doing things like that, when you miss like the time when you're supposed to meditate, you still might do it, but the chances
Right.
are going way down, right? Oh wait,
Right.
let me do this other thing then, and first, and then this thing, and then that thing, and another thing. Oh, I ran out of time. I don't have time for meditation. So when I got on with Kimberly today, I'm like, let's just take a couple minutes to meditate. Are you okay with that? She's like, oh, I knew she'd be for it because she's all about meditation. So we ended up doing that. And it's never too late to meditate. Yeah, you
That's
better
right.
use that one, Kimberly. It's
That's
never too
right.
late to meditate because, and it's so funny that because I was just thinking of this on my walk today because I have gotten in states with meditation practice where again for weeks I was in that samadhi or whatever, like in a high
Hmm.
level where Everything delights me. There are no problems. What? There's no such thing. So it wasn't just an event high. It went on for weeks. And then eventually density just, yeah, they found more
Mhm.
its way back in. And then, so and then what I probably quote unquote should do is go to a deep meditation again, retreat. And I haven't since, because I
Mhm.
think part of me is like, oh crap, I might have to give it all up at the next retreat. So, but I'm definitely keen. I like I was just thinking, like, I think I need to actively find that retreat I'm going to
Mm.
next. Like, at least I'm thinking that way now,
Yeah.
rather maybe I don't need it. Like I told you, even like when we talked about, like, that's how we talked. I said, well, maybe I don't need it. I'm like, maybe I do. Maybe I
Maybe
want
I
it
do.
now, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so good. Game on. We'll see what that looks like, how it wants to happen. Because I kept tricking myself because I was leading retreats, and I'm like, no, I'm doing it. I'm leading a retreat. I'm meditating with them, right? It's totally different, guys.
Totally
Not
different.
that you know, most of them would have a point of reference, some of them might, but like it's totally different running a silent meditation retreat than being in your own retreat. Massively different. So
Yes.
I totally tricked myself. And I even did like 3 of them and everything. And I've been keeping at it. And, yeah, right, sure. Okay, so
Yeah.
not that way. So yeah, we easily can, talk that's why I tell people, how do you help people to meditate consistently? I always tell people, because we're both meditation teachers, basically. I'm not as
Mhm.
depth as you would be, but like I would tell people, like, first thing in the morning, maybe sometime before or after lunch, maybe, like, this is just what I say, anchors, times when it's like
Anchors.
an
Yeah.
anchor of a time to do it. And then maybe a brief one right before you go to bed, or sometime, later at night, do one.
Mhm.
Some people say they have problems sleeping if they do too deep of one at night, right? So
Right.
everybody's different with that. But so people that are really serious about meditation, I tell them 3 times a day, like, even if
Mhm.
they're short, like, meditate consistently.
Yep.
And because when we're really connected, I know I'm doing a lot of the talking, but when we're really connected, it's like whatever you've been worried about, like, once you get into practice of doing it, like, you come back into remembrance, like, there's literally never be worried about. Like, how people tell you, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine.
Right.
Well, when you learn to meditate consistently and then you come back into deep meditation, you're in complete remembrance quickly. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's nothing to be worried about. So
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, so Kimberly is so I know, like, your clients probably come to you, they're worried about everything, probably a lot of
Everything.
everything.
Yes.
So yeah, how do you work with people on developing their meditation practice? We talked
Yep.
about, like, well, how do you help people even to slow down the meditate period? How do you the process? But you're like, I don't care. We find the way. Okay, mudras and things like. Okay, but then how do you help them establish the meditation
Yeah.
practice?
Yeah. We work on, so I do a group meditation. So everybody I work with is invited to a group meditation every morning at 6 a.m. So I have a 6 a.m. practice, 6 to 6:30, and anybody I work with is invited to that as part of what we do. So there's the group, that helps people to be accountable because they see each other, and we say good morning, and it's a first thing in the morning thing. And so if people don't come to that, which is fine, I encourage them to, because the group is powerful, is what time you're going to do it. Let's pick a time before your day gets busy. And I agree with you. I think first thing in the morning is perfect because I use it as anchors. First thing in the morning and the last thing I do of the day before I go to bed. Those are my 2 anchor points. And sometimes I do in the middle if I'm feeling like I need it. But so what I do is I say, okay, find 5 minutes for 2 weeks. Find 5 minutes that's consistent every day for 2 weeks. And let's hold that time, right? And just,
Yeah.
it's only 5 minutes. You can do it. And then we work through any obstacles for why they can't do it. And then we just slowly add time, but we find that point of the day that works best, where they can have the least amount of excuses, right? Because we all do when we're first starting, we all have 100 reasons why we can't do it.
Yeah.
So what is that time that
Oh,
works
hold on,
best?
Kimberly. I gotta go wash the dishes right now. Hey.
Exactly. No, come back.
Imagine we
Say
did
your
that with
thing.
everything we say in meditation. It's like, oh, hold on. Oh, yeah, I got to call that person. Hold on, Kimberly. We did that in interactions with people and everything we do. Like, it just so
Yes,
tells you how crazy your mind is. But it does that when
exactly.
we're trying to meditate. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, let's do this. Let's pick that time and stay there.
Mhm.
And then we add to it, and then we just evaluate. We keep evaluating, like, is this still a good time? Would there be a better time? Not to try to say, oh, it's not working, but maybe you have 5 minutes at lunchtime, but maybe 15 minutes doesn't work at lunchtime. That's great. You know that about yourself. So where can you put that 15 minutes in? Can you do it before you leave the house or before you hop online, whatever you do for work, right? Can you do it, or can you do it before bed? I love the points of early morning and bedtime because I feel like they are the least, I don't know what the word is. I want to say interruptible, but that's not a word, and it's not the right word, but I feel like they're the easiest to navigate,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, and the noise level and in the area where you live usually is a lot less, right? I
Right,
mean, there's
right.
a sense of it's the
Yeah.
most magical meditations are when I wake up super early in the morning and I'm
Mm,
meditating at like 4 a.m.
yeah.
and 5
Yeah.
a.m., right? Um, there's something that's different. It
That's
just
the
takes
ambrosial
magical.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not willing to get up at that time every single day.
I
Although
know.
sometimes I do anyway. I wake up, I'm like, oh, it's 5 a.m. I may as well get up. So,
Right.
but yeah, those are magical times. So yeah, but most of the people you work with, from what I've heard you tell me, yeah, they're busy people. They're spiritually oriented. It sounds
Hmm.
like, but they're like really stressed out, right?
Yeah.
So
Their minds are going, they're worried about everything that we all worry about, right? But they get really wrapped up and it gets stuck, right? They get stuck in all those uh recurring thoughts around, what am I going to do about this, or what's going to happen with this, or what's the schedule, how can I fit this in, how am I going to make this happen, whatever it is, right? It's like their minds are constantly spinning and they're exhausted from it, and sometimes they get sort of paralyzed in their life because they don't know how to let go of something or to bring something new in that they want to do because they've wrapped up their minds so tight around things. And so they want an outlet. They want to figure out, how can I release some of this the tangles in my mind, and how can I unravel it a little bit so I can have some space. And so, yeah, I mean, anxiety, overly busy, burnt out, you know, almost everybody. I feel like I'm describing many people, you know, um, not to say everybody's burnt out and everyone's anxious, but it seems to be more and more prevalent. Or maybe people are just more comfortable talking about it now.
right.
Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's the people I see, high stress jobs, and they they're busy taking care of the company or everybody else in the company, and they get to start taking care of themselves. So this is where we start.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, and I liked your point. Like, there are all these different things you can, all kinds of apps and online meditations,
Hmm.
videos, and oh my God, there's so many choices these days. I'm totally with you. And sometimes I use those things.
Yep. Yep.
My number one method is, like you, is just stillness. It's just
Right.
drop in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think can be very, very good, especially, yeah, when you're first meditating. I guess I was doing meditation like before I would say I started meditation,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
rest relaxation is kind of
Yes.
meditation and all that sort of stuff. But I just never looked at it that way. And then yeah, like one of my teachers says, true meditation is where we're not trying to focus on anything, we're just in
Right.
stillness,
Right.
right? And I
Yes.
sort of agree. I mean, I still call like guided meditations because that's
Me too.
we're used
Yep.
to calling it. I'm not gonna, try to come up with a new idea about it.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, that irreducible, space within is connecting with that, that's where it's at. So,
Mhm.
oh my God, yeah, you start realizing, holy cow, I'm not actually in control of my life as much as I thought. And, hang on, things are just kind of happening. That's weird. No, it shouldn't be, but it seems weird to the controlling mind, right? Well, all these
Yes.
beautiful things. So, what results do your clients see as a result of working with you with meditation,
Hmm.
doing
Hmm.
some Reiki, I imagine, with them, and you
Yeah.
do yoga, and you got breath work in your toolbox. So, what kind of results do they tend to
Yeah.
see?
So things like, one woman talks about how, like, I'm her blood pressure medicine because we do the breath work together, we do the meditation together, and it just keeps that high level down, not just blood pressure, but just that high pressure feeling in her body. It just brings it down. So she's not like just like I can just sort of feel it, right? I don't have a word, but I can feel it. People talk to me about how they are able to relax into themselves when they're working with me, and that they can start to see things about their life that they couldn't see because they were so tense and or didn't want to see, but they didn't feel like there was a place where they could relax enough to notice. So, the I would say the biggest thing is the relax feeling of being relaxed, feeling safe to process through things. Um, bringing that energy level down. And not that high energy is bad, but the stress level, that's what I probably should say, is the stress levels come down. And then the space around things, like, the ability to take a moment and pause. You get hit with like 100 things, right? And we want to just react to all of them and take care of it at once. But then it's the ability to pause and know, okay, in this array of things that have just hit me, what's the most important? And so there's this ability to just take a breath and know where the energy needs to go. And so that's what people respond to me. And some people just like it when they do the evening meditation. They like to, you know, they like to just fall asleep. They have trouble sleeping. So I can talk someone in a guided meditation right into relaxation and right into the ability to fall asleep. So
Mm,
sleeping is a big thing for people too.
okay, so be able to fall asleep easier and maybe
Yeah.
better overall because the stress
Hmm.
levels are down and
Yep.
that sort of stuff. And then so as part of my, energy scanning of, and then therefore it's intuitive business coaching too. But like what are so those are like the very obvious, like, okay, absolutely, these things are happening.
Right.
What are so when we get into marketing, as
Hmm.
like then we would be like, so what impact does it have in the
Right.
relationships and maybe more in their health and job, etc. So what other side
Yeah.
effects?
What
What
other
good
side
side
effects of
effects?
meditation? Yes. So, better decision making
Mhm,
is a really big one,
mhm,
because when your mind is a little more relaxed and clear, you can see all the angles. You don't get stuck, in one. There's only one way, right? So you can maybe see the bigger picture of things and
mhm,
make better decisions. I think that was one for me. That was one that I noticed for myself, and I've heard people telling me about that helps for them too. Um, I think the other piece, like relationships, people start and people get nervous with relationships, right? And you've probably experienced this with people too, is that um, we have this as we start working on ourselves, we worry about our partners, our spouses. Am I going to outgrow them? Am I not going to are they not going to like me anymore? Am I not going to like them anymore? Like there's a lot of anxiety around that. And
mhm,
so what I try to help people with when they start to get anxious about it is like, okay, well, let's think about that. Do you feel that you know yourself better now?
Mhm.
And the answer is usually yes. And do you still, or do you still care for, do you still love your spouse or your partner, whatever? And they say yes. And I say, okay, so where's the anxiety? Well, but what if, right? And we often find that actually there's nothing to worry
Right.
about, but we get wrapped up in in worry. We get wrapped up in worry. So
Mhm.
that's a big one with relationships. It's like, well, I can't, if I change too much, what's going to happen to my life, right? Or what's going to happen with my job? People are going to think I'm weird. Or, what if I end up not liking my job?
Mhm.
Okay, well, what if? Right.
Yeah.
So then I also like to go down that road of, well, now you have more clarity about who you are.
Mhm.
What is, more about your own truth. And perhaps what you've been doing has been great up until this point.
Mhm.
Perhaps it's just not another thing to do. Perhaps you can stay there and you can decide if it's the best thing for you, or perhaps there's something else that comes along that's even better.
Well,
And so,
what comes to mind, I'm sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but
no, go ahead.
just trying to keep things on track with
Yes.
but so this is all great. So yeah, with the relationships that I'm hearing is like more of a sense of confidence and peace with where
Mhm.
everything's at in their life, right?
Right. Right.
Relationships, health, or their job, or money. I'm sure there's another
Right.
boo. And after all, I'm shelling out all this cash to meet with you. I don't know if you've ever had those clients, right? So like sometimes people like to talk about that too, like,
Yes.
oh, actually, one of my problems is like I'm paying this person named Kimberly Allen to do meditation, and like I'm worried about my bills. I'm like, I'm exaggerating, but
Yes. Yes.
sometimes that happens too. Whatever it is that
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it could be all kinds of things, or pets or animals. So it
Right.
sounds like you think about the stress, worry about all these things, and like if I go too deep, oh my God, everything is going to change, and you're like,
Right.
what if it did change? What's the problem now? Like, well, I guess it
Right.
wouldn't be a
It's just,
problem, right? Like,
yeah, trying to relax around that worry and
right,
say,
right.
that's okay. It's okay. You can, if you want, you can pick all those things back up and go right back to where you were.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
easy for us
exactly.
to pick up,
I
right?
think it's a
Pick
good
up all
thing,
the stress. Absolutely.
good bargain to make with the mind. I've learned, right, from teachers
Hmm.
like that too. Like, it makes sense. Like, tell the inner critic, the mind, like, listen, we're going to do this thing. It might be totally transformative. No, let's keep it the way it is.
Right.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I think it'll be better for us. I think you'll like it too. But yeah, if you don't like it, we could always, we could always go back if you want to. Inner critic, if you want to go back there, you want to, go back to where we were, and you really truly want that, we can do that. Is that okay?
Right.
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. As long as I'm in charge. All right. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
so they have
Yeah.
these dialogues with ourselves in this sort of way is can be very powerful. So yeah, they're talking about getting into the money and the business and all that.
Hmm.
With the marketing, if I were working on this together with you, I'd want to do more of the specific, like we're getting some of the overview of like what the
Right.
benefits are for marketing stuff, but then drilling it in, like, man, you're gonna be could be something like you're 33%, I don't know if it'd be true, but like on average, you'd be 33% more at peace or whatever.
Right.
To come
Right.
with all these
Yes.
specifics would be fun. But yeah, getting into the money and the business. I know
Hmm.
you're been at meditation a long time. You've been helping people a long time in these realms. But it's a full-time business. You said about 2.5 years you've been in
Yep.
it. My notes reveal. And
Yes. Yes.
so you have retreats, you have some one-to-one clients, I seem to remember.
Yes.
And
Yep.
yeah, so where are you financially with the business? What can you tell me about that?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I'm still kind of, I know you got big plans. You want to have a retreat center. You're building towards that.
Yeah.
Are you a place where, holy cow, why don't people want this more? Or are you in a place like, no, I don't know, they're coming. And if you're honest with yourself, like,
Totally honestly, it does right now, it does not pay the bills.
mhm,
It maintains, like, my business pays for itself in terms of, like, my Zoom. I use Zoom, right? So it pays for Zoom, it pays for, like, the things, but it doesn't pay my household, doesn't pay my time. And so I am actually at this point, and this is honest truth, is like, okay, I need to kick it up somehow, because I've sort of saturated my people that I know.
mhm,
And yeah, I'm like, okay, well, I know a lot of people are interested. Why aren't you coming forward? Right. So that is exactly where I'm at. I'm like, okay, now, like, it's kind of the time where I'm like, okay, I really need to get serious to work here on this, or I need to do something else.
mhm,
So it's
mhm,
at that point of okay, get your butt in gear, right? Just like I learned how to meditate and I had to sit
mhm,
my butt down in my seat for 10 minutes at a time.
mhm,
Now I need to sit down and do, like, really do the marketing, really
mhm,
do the networking and the planning and the
mhm.
action pieces, not just meeting
Right,
with people. Right?
right,
Because just meeting with people is what I love to do. I would love someone else to do the other stuff, but that's not how it works when you're an entrepreneur and you're just getting started,
right,
right?
right. Right.
So yeah, so I'm at that point of, like, I just need to buckle down, get stuff done, get
Mm,
get get myself out there more, um, and start welcoming people in.
right.
Start bringing in. And so yeah, I have really big dreams and big plans, and I know I can do it. So
Mhm,
now I'm at this, like, okay, I've gotten the 10 minutes done. Now
mhm,
I'm moving to the 20-minute mark, right? So
mhm,
now I
mhm.
gotta kick it up again.
Right, right, in this area. Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
I love that. So let me just tune in. So I'm gonna do
Mhm.
like kind of a lightning round download.
Okay.
So it's sort of like I'm answering the question, why, what are the deeper true reasons why you're not making more money right now? Like that kind of
Okay.
sort of fun but intensive focus. Like,
All
okay,
right.
this is
I'll
what's
do my
happening.
best.
And then also it's like, what's basically my question really is even more so, what's stopping rather than, oh, how we're going to make it happen? What's stopping, the money from coming in? That's
Yeah.
the question I'm looking at. I'm looking at the blocks for that. So you don't need to do anything at this point. All
Okay.
you're going to do is be downloading stuff
Okay.
at first, and then we'll review what was coming through. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go, folks. This is going to be fun. Then I have other cool stuff, probably if we have time to share with her, other ideas that are popping for me for her. And I'm just so grateful for the work you're doing. Do not ever give up, Kimberly. Do not
Thank
ever
you.
give up. All right.
I'm not going
Okay.
to.
All
I
right.
promise.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's do it now. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, so what they're showing me is like the once you start focusing, okay, we're gonna get real about this, we're gonna get into it,
Mhm.
and they're showing me like yeah, she's gonna get stuck in the damn details, and then she's not gonna move these things forward in the way that they need to be moved forward. She's gonna be like, but I don't know, this piece right here, let's just get this piece over here, let's work on it. And so it's like showing me like you get into this tension with it, right? Like
Mm.
we gotta make it happen. We gotta start getting these people in. So it's like, and so you've been practicing not doing that, right? So it's like, okay, no, just meet with people and all joyously unfold or whatever, like a little bit more of that vibe. And the part of you that actually can be brilliant in seeing the opportunities, you've been tucking that away because it gets
Mm.
intense. It's like, "Ah," and it gets like this. So that wants to shift. So let's see what it's like when it's not like that. More the enlightened presence of that. Okay. So I hear like, classical music. Dun 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 dun. So I just had somebody else I just interviewed. She says, start writing, before you write your book or write anything, you might consider like putting on music and stuff. That could work for you maybe too. And like getting a creative flow. The idea of like, hey, it's time to do marketing. All right, let's turn on some music, whatever music you like. And then like letting that flow. But it's like getting in this creative flow is what's coming through that does resonate for me. So let's see what that's like. Okay. Hey, I have a pre-plug for my own thing. Like, you gotta meditate and make money, like that I always offer on this. So basically, that's what I'm saying. Like, because you're great with the meditation, now you need to just go deeper into strengthening the money vibe and allowing the ideas to come to you of how it wants to happen, the vision and the energy to turn on for it. Okay, so let's see what else is going on. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So I get a lot of stuffed energy in the throat chakra. Like, oh, it's like it's intense. It's like, okay, let's see what's going on with that. Okay, so the voice, the critic voice saying, "You're no darn teacher," is one thing I hear. And then I also get this feeling like on your field of pushing down on your head, um, definitely from like childhood and other things, I'm sure, but like I just get pushed down, like you're not that good. I get to like a push down energy. Okay, see what's going on with that. Like, you're limited, you only can handle so much here. Yeah, just do this, just do that. Yeah. Okay, it's all programming. Okay. Like an old pattern that's coming through is like a sort of like a tantrum, like not gonna work. Feel his feet going on the ground. It's not gonna work out. It's not happening. So like this old pattern, it's almost like I don't want to. I know it. That's none of that's true ultimately, and but like it's like you don't want to. It's like you don't want to meet your frustration as the vibe I get. Like I don't want to feel that frustration. I'm meditating, damn it. Like so that's kind of what I'm getting on this right now. Okay. Um I think you could do so well in helping people to you're really good at you can be very visionary and just see truly opportunities for people. So I know you're a meditation teacher, but you could be like, oh man, I could totally see this for you in your life and your business. And like you can paint these pictures for people and then they come in and say, yeah, that and then they add in their thing, right? So it's like like you're collaborating, coming up with this picture, which is really just dropping in this energy ultimately into their into them or awakening it within them. And they're like, oh yeah, that's what I want. And then they get confidence and then they start saying yes to opportunities from their heart, like, oh, I'm gonna do this then, and I'm gonna do that, and then they start following that. So, all right, so hold on. So someone like you might do well but when it comes to your own creation, like you tend to just get locked in your head, is what I'm sensing. So, okay, just you'll have ideas, but you'll be like, I don't know. It's like either you'll try it and then it's like, it's like a damn dead end. Forget about it. I'm not doing that anymore. Or it's like you shoot down the idea before you try it anyway, because you're like, I intuitively feel like that probably won't work anyway. I'm not doing that. So like both things I sense happen sometimes. Let's see. Yeah, the question is there, will they love me? Will they love me? Okay. All right. Okay. Then you just have to remember they love that space. They love that energy that you are. So and I know you again, intellectually you get all this, but like talking to the deeper self here. it's about them loving the space that is within all of us that they see right away in Kimberly. Like they feel this safety, this space within her. And it's like a magnet. It's just like, yes, I want to get into that space. She's holding that space. Like that's one of your primary gifts in life is just ability to hold enormous amounts of space for people, not just, oh, I'm holding space. But no, it's like an enormous amount of space. So it's like a really on a big level. Okay, so hold on. Like with money overall, I just kind of see these, yeah, like the money's comes in and then it's like it's like I don't know. I get a vibe I get is like I don't want to be like a salivating dog with money, like like money. Okay, money. So
Yes.
I notice like what you don't want it to be. Okay.
Yes. Yes. True.
Okay, let's see what works for you. Somehow I see you getting into like a nice kind of like a nice car. It actually seems more like a sports car almost. Doesn't mean that's what you like, but I'm just seeing it.
Mhm.
And then but it's a nice car. It's like got it's changing a little bit as I look at it, but it's the seat they keep showing, like the plushness of it. It's like sort of like a leather kind of vibe on the seat. And then it's just like I just want to go high class. I want to go in luxury.
Mhm.
I want this luxury for me, and then I want it for the people that come to me. I want them to feel the luxury, the luxury of life, the luxury of knowing they're worth it. They're worth some luxury in their life. They're worth it. Therefore, like to be like the embodiment of that message, you have to allow yourself to receive more of the luxury of life, not just meditation, but now on the material level. It's like let the luxury in, like to be able to pamper yourself in a
Mhm.
deep way, because you'd be more like, no, let's give it away to charity, I be more like that. And it's like, come on, you gotta let more in financially on a material level for you. Okay, let's see what else is coming through. Yeah, I don't know. I just with that voice thing, I'm kind of guided back to it. It's
Mhm.
like if I stuff it in, then no, I'm a little bit more mysterious, and then I not only can I be attacked, but I also can't be maybe more, I don't know, I keep hearing like controlled or manipulated or something. So there's something about that. Like when I really start sharing, then uh maybe I'll be too much for people, number one. But so it's like either I could be too manipulative myself and not even realize it, or others might try to take advantage of me in a way, like, oh, you're so kind. Can you do this now? And then you tend to be a yes person. So you're like, sure,
Mhm.
sure, sure. So so there's something with that. Anyway, so noticing that. Okay, what do you need to embrace in order for all this to thrive? Let's ask that question and see what comes through. Um, yeah, well, I said the luxuries, we got that. Okay, what else is coming through? How about anything specific in the business or anything else? Okay. Um, Self-care is definitely still number one. Nothing's going to change there. Okay, what else is coming through? I do get writing out a plan, so really getting clear on your plan. And then the execution of the plan is more of bringing your presence to the plan and just really being still and present with the plan. And then getting the downloads on how it wants to be executed. So you have a structure of a plan, but your trap is you get into the weeds of the details. So it's like they're saying, let the details, the exactness of the plan reveal itself more in the space, in the
Mhm.
infinite space. But
Mhm.
you do need a structure. You need a semblance of a real plan, and then you need to let the rest flow. Otherwise, it's like nothing will work. It's like I detailed it all out. I did the banner, I did the I did all the advertising, I did all the ads, I got all the big magazines. I was on Oprah, and they still didn't call. That's what happens, like, for you, if you're not operating in the right way. Like, you'll get lost in the weeds of, like, I did all this stuff, and then so that's a pattern for you. I did all this stuff, and then
Yes.
and it's like, no, 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 no. I do less. I do less. Okay. And then your mind, well, that sounds like bullshit. We don't do less. You do more to get more, right? The mind's still sort of there, right? So it's like, okay, got to realize that just never has worked for me in terms of full satisfaction and fulfillment, for sure. And then all those other things tend to fall apart in some way or fashion eventually. Anyway, so it never really has worked for me, if I'm honest. Okay, it never really works. Never really, truly, deeply works in that way. Okay, and it certainly can never work for me again, because I can't be like that anymore. Yes. Okay, we got a yes to that. Okay, in the field. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of like, I don't know what it might be called, but it's like this sort of soul vision manifestation vibe I'm getting. So I do believe, like, you're similar to me in that, on that level of, like, hey, it's about getting super connected and letting your life just manifest the way it wants to, for being connected, like, more in that space,
Hmm.
like what you're sharing. So, but if you invoke, rather than avoid, language like, hey, you're going to manifest great new things through this. If you embrace that, that feels like it could be, very helpful. And then also embracing, like I said before, to recap, I already sort of said the things, but embracing, like, all the possibilities you see for people and voicing them, because maybe it's possible you're like, I don't know, what do you think, right? Which is great. People feel very empowered that way and heard, but you have a lot of, like, energy, and you have a lot of ideas. So at some point you have to let that pour out, because the people are feeling very supported by that. And then they're like, oh my God, if I could have that, that'd be so great. And they feel like it's more possible when they're with you. So they get that confidence from you. So, but everything's foundationally starts with that meditation. Let's see, fees and things like that. Nope, they say no, don't go there. Okay. Anything else on an energetic level to cover right in this moment? No, it sounds like we need to complete for the show purposes and whatnot for now at the moment. So yeah, let's just go through the energy stuff that came through. Let's review. So what
Yeah.
stuff, you don't have, I mean, it's up to you. You could go through every single thing I said, but even if you just share, like, on two or three of the things I shared, what kind of stood out to you?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is, well, the last point you made about painting the picture for people, I often hold that back, because when you work as a teacher, you're sort of allowed to give advice. But when you work as a coach, it's always sort of about their answers, not any, like, we're in,
Mhm.
so I kind of and walk this line where, like, I want to give people some information that's coming through,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But then I'm like, "Ooh, but that's not mine to give." Like, they have to figure it out. But I so sometimes just can see things so clearly for them, and I want to share it. So I love that idea, because, maybe it is actually okay to do that,
Yeah.
you know?
I would
Um,
encourage you to do that. I get it. It's like, no, I just stay in the space and they figure it out or they don't. It doesn't matter. It's not my thing
right.
and all that kind of stuff. But then again, I could argue just as equally, God's
It
giving
does
us all
matter.
these messages for a reason,
Right,
Just
right.
be, oh, I got tempted, and then then I took the trap to tell them, and then that
Right.
screwed everything up.
Yes,
It doesn't
yes,
have to be that
yes,
way. As long as you realize, no, the foundation is what you're talking about. But yes, you can, when the moment's right, to
yes.
pour out this information is going to be very, very helpful for them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I also, the stuck energy that I have is, some of that, but it is there. I think I do have, like, definitely some messages around, um, oh, can you really do that? Right? Like, um, or yeah, like the you can only handle so much, right? And the tantrum feeling, I was laughing because like I totally would throw an inner tantrum because
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm working so much on this and why isn't it happening?
Right, right,
You
right, right.
know? So I totally was laughing about that because it's so true. And I do get stuck on like we've been doing it this way, right? This is the way we've been doing it, and this is the way I thought of it. And then I stay for too long sometimes in places
Mhm.
with like routine or with programming classes, whatever. Like sometimes I just draw it, I like just keep going and I don't know when it needs to end and something else needs to begin.
Mhm.
So for sure. Um I like this, and I'm where I have my notes are I never write notes like a regular like my notes are like all over the place, but um embracing the luxuries and the self-care is something that's really interesting to me because I've been thinking a lot about um being more out loud with my self-care, like with health, and like the journey of like, okay, my mental health is really great, but now I'm going to work more also on my physical health and taking care of like nutrition and exercise, right? All these other things that are really important. And I thought like I should take people along with me on that, but that gets to be like down the like, oh wait, but is that too much for people? Is that right? Like, am I saying too much, or are people going to think I'm doing a weight loss program, or right? And so I get stuck in my head around like, what are people
You
going to
just keep
think about
remembering, this
that?
is just about self-care. It's just about
Right.
self-care, right?
Exactly. It's just about taking care
Actually,
of
all the,
ourselves.
all the question marks you're having that's showing up with them are all opportunities to drop those concepts.
Right.
No, this isn't necessarily about weight loss, although you probably might lose some weight in the process, but you can hang on to it if you want. It's a
Right. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So
What
I
feels
think
better
that
for you? Do you want to keep it on or take it off? Or, I don't care. Right.
right. Right. Exactly. So really fascinating these pieces that you downloaded. They're all so spot on. I mean, I get so stuck in the weeds. I get so stuck in the details. And then I get stuck there and I can't bring myself back up to the
Yeah.
big picture vision.
Right.
I get stuck in like, oh, this is the way it's gonna be, and I'm gonna stay right here, right?
Right. That's how you get stuck. Yeah.
And then I
Right
get
here,
stuck.
right? Right, right.
Yes. Yeah, but I love it. And holding space is for sure, I feel like my gift to
Mhm.
the people I work with. Like I can hold space and I can do it all day long. It does not it's something that I can do easily, and I never get tired.
It's you. It's just your
I
breath,
I can just like
your thinking.
my honest to God dream is just to have a retreat space where we do nothing.
Right.
I
The
I
center
wouldn't
for
run a
doing nothing,
program.
right?
We're just gonna be together with whatever needs to happen, right?
Right,
Like
right, right.
that's ultimately what I would do, is because
Mhm,
I do know I can hold space for people, and we can hold space in silence, we can hold space talking,
mhm,
whatever needs to happen, we can be in that. So so
mhm,
thank you. This is so
mhm,
helpful to me.
mhm. Yeah, I would just say like, yeah, absolutely. There's a place for that. And then I would just say, um, in your case, I don't know, it could be wrong, but I just think for the money to work, I think you want to help people with manifestation.
Yeah.
The foundation it's not ultimately manifestation whatsoever. It's all about connecting, awakening, enlightenment, all this stuff, right? And it's
Yes.
like, because even like, yeah, look at it, I use Eckhart a lot as an example. He's
Yeah.
even teaching manifestation after resisting it for so long. Like, all
Right.
right, you guys want me to teach manifestation? Fine, I'll do it.
Right.
So, but yeah, the power of sharing, just your ideas for them. I mean, will help them
Hmm.
to manifest it because they'll be like, oh my God, that's exactly right. And all of a sudden it's like it just starts being a thing. Like it's just, oh, it kind of is, I think right now. At least we're halfway there already. And
Right.
it feels that way anyway. And then you can just be a guide for their own process from there. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
and coach you on to manifest, do these 10 mudras a day, maybe, but maybe not. It all
Right.
depends. But it's more
Right.
like, can you just your way would be more like, can you, hey, I'd rather than trying to make it happen like you've been doing all your life, can we just hold the space for that? Can we just hold
Yeah.
the space for that and let it
Yeah.
unfold? See how you're guided to let that
Right.
happen? Oh yeah, great. That sounds perfect, right? But some of them may fight it because they're doers. Some of them are so caught in that.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, that would be the idea. They get to them that level where they can just let it unfold and they get more and more in tune themselves, get maybe even more downloads themselves to flesh things.
Yeah.
Well, you're helping them by seeing like the gift of being able to download things, activating that, and then they can see like, wow, I would love to be able to get downloads at that level like you do. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it just starts happening more as you meditate. And
Right.
if you wanted to directly teach them, you could. I don't know if that's really your thing though. So I think it's more like, yeah, it's all right there, just to see what emerges in the next sit, like
Right. Exactly. Well, that's, and that's kind of how it is, how I work
yeah.
we're just going to sit with this and see how it feel. Like, how does it feel in your body? How does it feel? Like, can you vision it? Can you, you know, so yeah, it is. It's sort of like, you're going to do,
Mhm.
you're going to end up doing you're going to end up with, with the download,
Right,
you're
right,
going to
right.
get it. Yeah. But maybe I think you're right. Like, I think, letting people know, that that's available.
Yeah, yeah,
That's something that is available to them as well
yeah,
as they go
yeah,
move through.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's different ways you can activate that. Either
Right.
like, hey, well, I'm getting some downloads. Do you want me to share? Yes or no? Everybody's going to say yes.
Yeah.
Or if it's another service, like, hey, I literally can give you all these downloads. It's an extra service. We can map some things out. I'm good at mapping things out. I'm also really good at getting downloads. We can definitely do that if you want to. Here's the arrangement for that. See, I mean, like,
Right.
from there. So yeah, and I also got that you maybe want to refine your audience, like get more targeted. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but that's for another time to
Yep.
figure out. But yeah, I just noticed what time it is. When you're
I
having
know we
fun,
could
our
keep going
time
forever.
flies so fast. So we're gonna need to start wrapping up for today.
Yes.
But before we do that, I would like to come back to you and just say, like for you, well, I just want you to share about like where people can check you out
Yep.
or join some of your meditations maybe or whatever you've got that you want to share with them. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can, my website is my name, KimberlyAllen.net. And
Hmm.
it's a .net, KimberlyAllen.net. So that's kind of easy. And most of my stuff is on there. If there's something, if someone's looking on there and they don't see what they thought they were going to see, it's easy to message me right from the website. My email is Kimberly. No, it's not. Sorry. My email is kim@KimberlyAllen.net. So kim@KimberlyAllen.net is my email. I have meditations on Insight Timer. So if anyone uses the Insight Timer app, they can go find some of my guided meditations on there. And it's just under my name, Kimberly Allen. And of course, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and sort of on Instagram. I still don't really know how to use Instagram, so I'm just sort of there, but mostly Facebook and LinkedIn is where people can find me on social stuff. Um, yeah, so that's where I am, and of course I'm in northern Maine. If anyone's watching and listening and is also in northern Maine, it's not a big place, so come find me.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm grateful for the work you're doing very deeply, and anybody that dedicates themselves to be a meditation teacher is, I just like, yes, I just bow
Yeah.
down because that is such a incredibly important and valuable,
Mhm.
um, you know, service to humanity, and
Yeah.
so I'm so grateful. So definitely check Kimberly Allen out at her website, kimberlyallen.net, and also check her out on Inside Timer. I know I will because I'm very curious about it now, and I do like to pop in there. So,
Nice.
all
Yeah.
right. So, yeah, looking
Awesome.
forward to it, Kimberly. And then the last thing is if you guys want to check me out and get your own energy scan, you know,
Yes.
a full consultation and everything, you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com, and I have a Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation. But only for those of you that are ready to rock, you know, check it out. There is an investment required because I'm going to be going, you know, in deep like we did here. You know, we did a shorter period of time here, and we'll start. You see, like what we're happening, values happening. Like we're going to keep digging and digging and figuring things out, and giving you a lot of missing pieces. You probably a lot of things you haven't come to fully realize yet, and start dropping in the energy, getting the plans, you know, for the mind to, oh, we got a plan, yay. And then so it can feel safe. But anyway, I tune into your chakras and energies more specifically during that time as well. So check that out, your Rock Your Sacred Purpose Energy Scan consultation. If you're just want to check me out and do some meditating with me and make some money, do the meditate, make money meditation. And learn about the 4 ways to meditate and make money as well through my PDF. And yeah, it works. All I can say is it works for the people that work it, right? So it opens up your energy, your chakras, turns on money energy for you, abundance. Ask questions you have to your guidance, your overall guidance. Let the answers drop in. And yeah, that's how I've manifested all my greatest stuff. It's really come from the inner space. So check it out at yoursacredpurpose.com, the Meditate Make Money meditation. All right, so Kimberly, as we're wrapping up.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yes, I'd love for you to. Do you have any last words for everybody before we leave?
I would say keep going, right? Like just like we said at the beginning, if you get frustrated and feel like it's not for you, try it one more time. Just keep trying it one more time.
One more.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, one more, folks. All right. Okay, so lots of love and blessings. I'm so grateful for you, Kimberly, being on the show and everything today and everything you've shared. And lots of love to our listeners. Keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here, Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time.
Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.